Hello and what is going on today, guys? Tomcat here and welcome back to Forza Horizon 3 on PC. Now, in this video, we're going to be talking about some of the things that could possibly or maybe come into Forza Horizon 4, and I want to hear your guys' opinions, and I'm going to be sharing some of mine that I've been thinking about and also kind of exploring the community and seeing what they have been saying as well, and hopefully we can have a really good discussion here on some of the things that could be coming into Forza Horizon 4 since E3 is also coming up, and you guys make sure to let me know what you guys want to see from me regarding E3. So, as far as coverage goes. But we're going to start off in this Focus RS today with, the stereotypical Ken Block livery, but it's actually a very fun car to drive around and hoon around in. So, the car's not really Alright. The car is not really a main subject of this video. This video is more based around the topic that I mentioned earlier. But with that being said, we are going to do a couple donuts because why would we not? And in keeping with the topic we were going to talk about before, the first thing on my list for Horizon 4, and I know I've talked about this a few times, but the closer we get to release, or, well, at least announcement, the closer we get to a hopeful announcement of Horizon 4, the list does kind of grow and evolve, and wow, I way overcooked that, but the list does grow and evolve and change, and I think one of the biggest things that has changed throughout the growth of that list, at least for me, is I want to see some changes to the little things. Like, for example, and I'll show you when I finish with this drift zone. This drift zone is kind of, this score kind of sucks because I know we're in an all-wheel drive car and we can't really use my main transition techniques that I normally use in rear-wheel drive cars, so you can't really maximize the score as much. But let me stop the car for a second and show you guys what I'm talking about. So, in the interior view right here, the interior view I feel like should be a little bit more dynamic instead of static. It's very static right now in terms of, like, if you look to the right, you just kind of snap to the right, and then you get to a certain degree, and then your head just pops outside the window. I feel like you should really be able to look around the interior of the car, and I think that would really help the immersion factor of the game. And I also think that that's something that has been, I know that sometimes, game developers will say, well, whoa! Sometimes game developers also say that you should practice with a certain car before attempting certain maneuvers with it. But anyways, I know that sometimes game developers say that they don't want to spend so much time in certain areas because not as many people are going to use those features, and I get that. I really understand where they're coming from. But at the same time, I also want to say, whoa! Yeah, I normally say whoa when a Pagani Huayra hits me head on. But no, I do want to also say that besides all of that stuff, you also have to think that there's, at least from my point of view, they've been following a similar design style for a long, long time, and I think that there's got to be room to change some of it up, right? There's got to be some room in there, and I think something like being able to actually look around the interior while while the car is stopped would help the immersion factor, and would also kind of push the little engine they're working with here. Now, another thing, and I know that a lot of you guys, I know that some people are all for this and other people are like completely against it, but I'll get into the details of what I'm talking about in a minute. But like, when I say gas stations, I don't necessarily mean gas stations just in the sense of making them just for fuel, right? When I say gas stations, I mean, like, give the gas stations in the game some form of purpose. Someone in the community mentioned that they would like to see gas stations used for the ability to clean/repair cars if you have damage on. And I like that idea. I would go one step further and say if you wanted to clean your car, maybe have a dedicated, have a car wash that you would use for that. I did not have enough power to power out of that. But maybe have like an actual car wash that you could use for the purpose of cleaning your car or keeping your car clean, and you could maybe have, a gas station be used for repairing your car if you had visual damage on. Now, the thing is, I get that a lot of people are going to say, well, if you have the option to turn visual damage on and off, then, or even visual damage or physical damage, like actual mechanical damage on and off, then it makes the gas stations redundant, right? And to a certain degree, yes. To a certain degree, yes, it does make the gas stations redundant. But at the same time, if you want to maybe add a little bit more, wow, these traffic cars are in the exact right places to hit you constantly here. But I feel like, to a certain degree, yes, that gas station repair system would be redundant because you do have the option of repairing your cars kind of whenever you want to. or turning off damage entirely. But at the same time, also, I feel like if you want a slightly more immersive, like kind of dynamic to your gameplay, I don't think it would be a bad idea, and I don't think it would be a bad idea for multiple reasons. One, I think it would add another dynamic of gameplay for people that may want it there, and two, I feel like it would also add it would add an element of, oh crap, I shouldn't damage my car, there isn't a gas station around here, if you so choose to play that way. Now, if you don't choose to play that way, if you, say, for example, if you were to turn the gas stations, turn damage off, then maybe the gas stations themselves would just not actually serve a purpose anymore other than just being there visually. So by turning damage off altogether, it would disable the functionality of the gas stations, so you wouldn't have this redundant feature. And that, I mean, I feel like it could work. I want to hear you guys' opinions on whether or not you think it could work, but I also want to see more areas that are solely focused on things like Touge battles and drifting. And I know that people, you know, we say this pretty much every year, and they do add a little bit more in for the drifting people every year, but I think one area that's starting to go unnoticed, and has been going unnoticed for a long time, ever since Forza Motorsport 4, and even Horizon 1 with the canyons, is the Touge battle, people. And dude, Touge battles are so much fun, and there's so many different ways you can do them, so many different, you know, types of battles you can set up, so many different types of, I mean, dude, there's so many different types of things you can do with your friends when you actually have a mountain pass that's really properly suited to Touge battles, and I think it's something that is definitely missed out on in the Horizon series as of right now, because think about it, it's one of those really dedicated niche types of street racing, and that's what they're trying to capture in oh my god! Wow! I did not expect to drive away from that. I did not expect to drive away from that one bit. Not one single freaking bit. Oh my god. But anyways, that is something that I think personally would be a massive add-on to the series, and I think if they really did look into Touge battles as a whole, and, you know, kind of everything, I mean, like, that whole Initial D vibe and everything like that, I think that they would have some really cool gameplay dynamics, and they'd have a lot of really happy players on their hands. So I think it'd be something that would be really worth looking into for them, because they have all of these cars that would be amazing mountain cars, really, like absolutely incredible mountain cars that don't really get used for that purpose. I mean, you've got all the MX-5s, you've got the MR2s, you've got the RX-7s, you've got the NSXs, you've got pretty much everything that you need to establish an amazing Touge community, and I feel like it's a little bit of a lost opportunity on their part. Now, another thing that I feel like could definitely do with some improvement is off-road focused customization, and I know people have said this before, but it needs to be said again. And when I say it needs to be said again, I mean it. It genuinely needs to be said again, because we haven't really heard anything from them about things like lift kits and bigger tires for trucks. And, like, I get it, you know, you have they've given us the different tire types, and those are cool and all, but like, the ability to alter the size of not only your wheels, but your tires would be a big improvement. And even if they only allowed us to do it on off-road vehicles only, like vehicles that had off-road tire type options, like if you could put the off-road type tires on a car, and then and only then could you adjust the size, you know, and the height and width of the tire, and I think that would be a major step forward, because they've been trying to push off-road so much that I feel like something like that would really help. It would actually be like, hey, we're serious about off-road. And I think if they showed that they were a little bit more serious about off-road by including more off-road style customization, that they would really do a good job, or they could do a good job and have a good chance of capturing more of the off-road community. Because I feel like we have a really good grounds to speak on this, because of so many of the Mudrunner people and so many of the off-road gaming people in general that are here on my channel, because I feel like we represent a really good size, a really good part of the off-road gaming community. Wow, that was oh boy. Hot Wheels expansion, Hot Wheels map. Come on. But no, seriously, I feel like we represent a really good part of the off-road driving game community here on my channel, and I think that, you know, the people that cross over between Forza and, say, Spin Tires, for example, or some other off-road games, like Dirt Rally even, anybody that plays something that, you know, plays games that are actually based on off-road, I think realize that Forza has a lot of growing to do in terms of off-roading. I mean, it's like, yes, you can add off-road vehicles, and that's cool, and yes, you can add, like, desert areas and stuff like that. That's cool, but it's not quite enough to bring over that core off-road audience that you can tell that they're looking for. They just really haven't figured out how to bring all of them over yet. And, oh, make it! Yes! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Oh god, please tell me we land this. I mean, we landed it. We didn't really land it amazingly, but we freaking landed something. And there's no going back from that. Oh yes. Freaking four-wheel drift every day. Oh god. Come on, steer it. There. Dude! It always amazes me how easy these cars are to drive. Really. And to pull off just like all-wheel drive, you know, all-wheel drive slides like these. They're so easy. I mean, I've got this one tuned a little bit more to the rear with the power split than the Focus RS comes with stock, and I feel like it really helps the car move around a lot better. But I mean, that's up to you and how you like to tune your differentials. But personally, for me, I really like the way this car is set up. Now, another thing that I did want to touch on in conclusion here is, you know, I think the whole diesels thing, I mean, I know a lot of people have been asking for it. I've asked for it myself in the past. And, you know, I feel like there's a lot of things that, you know, we would like them to do. Like, I would love for them to put, like, you know, Cummins and Duramaxes and like Power Strokes and stuff like that in the game, you know, and I'd love to be able to lift them or put trophy truck suspension on them and put like stacks in the bed and like roll call and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, that there's a lot of like, there's a lot of things that revolve around that I feel like they couldn't really do for obvious reasons, like, you know, emissions, like modern emissions and stuff like that, and I guess, you know, what they would feel like it would be promoting. But at the end of the day, I think it's definitely something that, you know, stuff like that, you're probably going to have to look to either the modding community of certain games for, or even more of the indie world. But I think also at the end of the day, I mean, the addition of diesel trucks I don't see as being far-fetched, because we do have some diesels. We have the Hummer, and we have, you know, the Titan XD, but I would love to see, like, oh god, here we go, into the ocean. But I would love to see, you know, like maybe a Ram 2500 that we could do like some sort of crazy like trophy truck suspension, or like a Carly suspension on, or maybe say like a Carly suspension on an F350 Power Stroke, or even like something with some of the Duramax trucks. It would be really cool, and I think that I'm going way too fast into that wall. I think I'm going way too fast into that wall. But to wrap up here, my list basically consists of everything that we've already talked about, plus kind of clearing up some of the things about diesels as to why I don't think they would be able to implement them in the ways that we maybe would like. But I mean, main thing for me, dude, is the Touge roads. They have got to come back. But they have, dude, I can't stress that enough. They have got to come back. But again, hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to click that like button. Tell me in the comments down below what you guys thought of it. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to click that subscribe button for more daily videos like this one. And I will see you guys next time. Talk to y'all later.